Hello and welcome to CEF Tech Talking.
Tech Talking.
Yes, this is our podcast. This is new for us here at CEF, but exciting at the same time.
Well, it's a great way to consume it. If you're driving along in a van and you've got to go on a journey or whatever, you just want to listen to something on the radio, a podcast is the way to go.
Yeah,
so
this is
what we
it.
thought.
And it's not just me and you, Dave, is it? We're joined today.
That would be dull, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's enough of me and you in there.
Even with your dulcet tones.
Yeah. Oh, you've met us before then, have you?
Yeah.
We've got Aico here. Not just Aico, but Andy. Hello, mate. How are you?
Not bad, mate. Yourself?
So your full name and title, please, for the record.
I'm Andy Sturgess, and I'm the National Specification Manager for Aico.
I'm glad you remembered that, because you haven't had that title.
No, I've had to keep remembering that I've got that title now. So there we go.
So congratulations, first of all, on the promotion. So
thank you very
what
much.
does it see you do now?
So basically what I'm doing is I'm looking after the specification mainly for social housing around the country in regards to their fire, CO protection, and also basically help supporting the team, as it were, around the country to make sure that we're covering all bases.
We went to an amazing day, didn't we, over at Aico?
We did. You've got an incredible organisation with an amazing ethos, and the desire to promote and to educate people is incredible. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the fundamentals of the business is it's predominantly just keeping people safe communities. So I've always said to everyone, the best thing about working for Aico is that you're not selling them something they don't need. You know, this is all important stuff. It's life safety equipment, and you want people to have the correct level of kit, you know, to protect their lives if there's a fire or if they've got an issue with carbon monoxide.
Yeah, I think we've seen that here, haven't we? When we're at Tech Talk here, their stand's been absolutely packed. Might have something to do with me and you.
well, of course, we're talking about some new regulations which are coming in across the whole of the UK, different phases. We're in Wales today, and they're coming in July, but then in the autumn. So just quickly run us through, Andy. What is the change for rental accommodation?
So the biggest change is that there's a bit of legislation changing. It was predominantly in England, but it is also moving across to Wales as well in a slightly different format.
Okay.
And what they're doing is they're making this legislation encompass everything, including social housing. So before it only covered private rentals.
Yeah, the private rented sector is where we used to focus our attention, but you're saying all social now, all rented.
But the word is all rented.
Okay, cool.
So any rental property needs to have this. So you could also say something like an Airbnb, because it's a rental property.
Yeah.
Every single sort of property type that's a rental property is going to need to comply to this. And predominantly, it's basically stating that you need to cover all of the fuel burning appliances with a CO detector, whereas before it was just solid fuel.
Well, no, me and Dave play on this, don't we? We look at the changes, the tweaks that are with England, Scotland, and Wales, and that one keeps cropping up.
That single word coming out makes such a massive difference to the scope, doesn't it? It's incredible.
Well, there's another interesting word as well, because they've put in the responsibility. It's the landlord's responsibility to install and maintain them.
Yeah.
So before,
maintain.
Yeah, and maintain only when they've been told by the resident,
Right.
but it's their responsibility to maintain them. Now, it's not that's much of an issue with social housing, because they've always done that. But private landlords, like for example, if a resident turns up and goes, "I've got a beeping smoke alarm, what do I do?" They won't be able to go, "I'll put a new battery in."
Yeah.
The landlord will have to do that. It's their job to maintain it. And the other one's the word install. So how many CO detectors around the country do you reckon are just plonked on top of the boiler?
Oh, well, yeah.
Quite a lot.
Is that installed?
I've got to put my hand up there. That's me.
Mine is too. Mine's on a little ledge just next to the boiler.
You've not installed it though, have you?
Well, it was a pretty technical job. I turned it on and everything.
Didn't they?
Yeah. So the word, you've got to install it. As a landlord, you have to install and maintain it. So it means that if it should have been put on top of the boiler, that's not been decided correctly. No. Following the guidance. So you need to put it in the right place. It needs to be installed right.
So how many people across you saying you look after that? How many people on that side of the business?
Our social housing, it's something like 5 million properties.
5 million properties, and you've got obviously a massive network, haven't you? Because you haven't done all the tech talks.
No, I haven't done all the tech talks now.
Because you're slightly busy.
This is my second one, but they are great.
You've been finding them well, have you? Because I mean, from our point of view, we've done an amazing day here at Cardiff. The people here were absolutely brilliant, weren't they? Lots of questions, and we saw your stand absolutely mobbed.
Yeah.
we sort of said, we talked to them, they're the experts.
So we talk about CO in the first session and the interval session. You just every stand gets swapped with people.
Well, you always walk out and laugh at me and go, "Good luck, mate," and it's like, "Oh, cheers, nice one, Darren." It's like,
we're off to Exeter. See you later.
Sorry. So
that's it.
But yeah, again, it's a lot of it. What really, I mean, you obviously direct them to us. You know, we are the market leaders. We do all the training courses and things like that. So the main thing people come over is they go, "Look, what do I need to do?" And you go, "Look, we'll give you the lowdown." But in reality, what you want to do is come on one of the training courses. They're all free. Right. So
you mentioned training. Now, I've seen something out on Twitter recently. I don't know if you've seen it, Dave, as well. But these guys have just launched City and Guilds qualifications that come from Aico that are they rubber stamped by City and Guilds?
Fully accredited by City and Guilds, the whole shebang. So we've just done our first one. last week, end of last week, start of this week, one of the two.
It's all a bit of a blur for you, isn't it?
It's all blurs together. So we've just launched that, and basically that again we're going to be offering that out to the sector. People who want to do it, they have to come up to Oswestry. It's a full day course, you know. Tests at the end of the works. You know, it's a proper qualification. And if anyone wants to get involved with that, so we haven't quite figured out how we're going to roll it out yet. But what you want, if you want to get involved with it, you've got to come on our expert installer training. So you've got to be an accredited installer on our expert installer program.
How would they do that? So if me and Dave wanted to become expert installers with Aico, what would we need to do?
There's loads of ways to be found. I mean, the best bet is just to go to the website and register. So basically what we do is we have our mobile training units driving around the country.
Seen them.
Yeah, we do training sessions all over the shop, be it at wholesalers in meeting rooms, we'll do them in conference rooms at hotels, we do them at events. And basically how it works is if you register for the training on the website, your local RSM, who looks after your area, will have a list of people who've applied. And then when they're doing a training course in the area, they'll just get in touch and let you know when it is. Once you've done that, you can then basically join our installer community. So that's the next step. So if you want to get on, if you want to do the City and Guild, you've got to join the installer community. Again, that is totally free. Once you finish the training, you'll get a little link with a code. You type it in, you sign up. That gives you access to all sorts of stuff in regards to extended training modules, videos. You know, you can access the technical team via chat online. There's forums for people to ask questions. You can basically there's incentives to use it. So you can get Costa vouchers and Greg's vouchers and enter the prize draws and stuff. So, you know, it's all, we know to get electricians to use things, we've got to bribe them a tiny bit. So, you know, it's
The bait side.
so, and then once that's on there, once we do decide on the format, it'll be people in the installer community that can come on the training.
Right, so we were with you, was it last week, the week before, 26th or something?
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
couple of weeks ago.
And you guys were talking about there's something being removed from the range over at Aico.
Yeah, so the 141, the yellow one.
141, right.
The ionisation detector.
Ionisation. Now, there has been quite a lot of talk about ionisation. Do you use it? I mean, I don't know about you, Dave, but my ionisation at the bottom of the stairs always used to be going off with the toast.
Yeah, it's a
and,
terror,
and is that the reason you don't want people having false alarms?
To a degree, I mean, you don't want false alarms because you start to ignore them. You know, you don't want to become complacent when you smoke alarms and ignore them if they do go off, because then you won't respond quickly enough to get out of your house. But the main reason is purely down to the fact that optical detectors pick up domestic fires better. So they'll go off for a domestic fire faster, you'll get a better response level, and you'll also get rid of pretty much all your nuisance alarm issues due to particulate. So these way to look at it is when you smell your food, you're inhaling a smoke particle, ionisations look for smoke particles.
Oh.
Yeah. So So they're not false alarm, they're nuisance alarm.
So do they build up over time on the detectors? Is that
No,
what
not
the
with
reason is?
not with the ionisation. No, it's just they pick up a part. They like clean burning fires, so they pick up a particulate. They're going to go off. They're doing their job. Whereas,
So there will have been something that set the false alarms.
Yeah, but
it's
you won't be able
not-
to see it.
Not a fire. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
so that's why you'll be getting your nuisance alarms.
So that's why my toaster is no good. I'm
Yeah.
blaming my toaster here, not my ability.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you put an optical in, if you full on cremate whatever it is in your oven, it's still going to go off. But I don't know.
You've obviously been around mine.
Get the fire extinguisher out. Oh, not again. Oh.
But the opticals can differentiate much better, can they?
So no, the opticals basically look for smoke. Yeah, they look for obscuration in the air. So the denser the better. So I don't know if you've seen a domestic fire. They're usually quite thick black smoke.
Yeah.
They're going to pick those up faster. You will get issues with other things such as steam. Vapes are a big old culprit at the moment. You vape under an optical, that'll set it off. But things like dust won't give you problems because they ignore dust now.
I have experience of a smoke detector saving our lives on our fire on our house.
Really?
Yeah. I was charging a model aeroplane in my studio.
Right.
Went down with a mate for a cup of coffee in the kitchen. All the alarms go off because they're interlinked.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what it was, and he ran upstairs, and the thing had melted, dropped on the carpet, and the carpet was on fire.
Oh, right.
And he nearly had to go to hospital because he inhaled the smoke from that. Yeah. But if that hadn't gone off, we'd have been down there for another 15, 20 minutes. We've got an old wooden house. It would have been ablaze.
I would have gone.
Yeah.
Right.
So I can vouch very much for the smoke alarms.
Yeah. So you've got the installer program. You've been promoted, which is probably the best thing to come out of Aico.
Oh, damn right. Most definitely, my friend.
And then again, now these vans, me and you, when we were at Aico, Dave, we saw they got four of these vehicles,
the mobile
units,
to go out,
mobile units, and what, they just pop up anywhere?
No. So it all depends on how it's been organised. So basically, all the RSMs get a rotation of them throughout the year.
And an RSM, just confirm
So
what's an RSM?
That's
mate?
a regional specification, mate.
Okay,
so basically,
cool.
they look after a patch, as it were.
Yeah.
They got some postcodes they look after, and they'll get an allocation of that every year. We usually get every quarter. We'll get probably 2 rounds of it, and they'll appear. Sometimes they'll go to say a social landlord. So if you're just a spark, you won't be able to go to one of those because that's a in-house training session. But they will often end up outside a wholesaler, and then that wholesaler will be going, look, come to the training session. You know, we'll put 2 or 3 sessions on during the day. Come do the training course. It's all there. All the kits on board the unit. Loads of seating. you get all your handy books off the back of it and all the other associated stuff, and go that way.
I was interested what you said there, Andy, because your training, do you split your training up between installers or anyone else, basically? So
to a degree, yeah. So the expert installer training itself
Yeah.
is fundamentally focused on sparks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for the installer. You know, and don't get me wrong, a lot of the time, other people from different parts of an organisation want to know all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, they'll probably look at it and go, "Hey, what?" But the standards and regs, for example, anyone needs to know that. They're really important regardless of where you are in an organisation.
Yeah.
But we can do different training courses for different elements of the business. Like say, there's a compliance team who aren't necessarily electrical. We'll go and train them, but just cover the standards and regs rather than how to install the kit, because they're not that bothered about that.
No.
And same with like, dirty word, gas engineers.
out of this building.
yeah, hold on.
No, we like them all. It was great. I had a training session the other day. Did the gas engineers first, followed immediately by the electricians. And the first session was them just giving grief to the sparks. And the sparks walked in, I was like, they've just been giving you crap for the last hour. And then they came out to the next one and they were like, yeah, we're going to do the same to them.
Yeah. Too right. Yes, yeah, too right. So there are different levels and there's different people. But I know you've done quite a lot with the actual residents as well, haven't you?
Yeah, we do loads of resident engagement. So if you've got landlords where they say they're doing a lot of the time, it's for, say, for example, sheltered housing or with community awareness for like carbon monoxide detection and things like that. We'll take a mobile unit there, or we'll go to like a community hall, or we'll go on site, and we'll basically just take people through why they've got the kit, why it's important. One thing a lot of people don't do is have an escape plan for their house, like what to do if there's a fire. Well, what do you do? You know, did you know where the key is to unlock the front door? You know, something like that.
I'm looking at Dave now. Have you got one?
Yeah.
We've never done a fire drill in our
Yeah, exactly. But people don't think about it. So we go through a resident, especially if you're in like a block of flats and things like that. You want to get out. You know, if you get told to evacuate, you want to know what you're doing, don't you? So it's going through the residents, making sure they understand things like that. Now, the difference between the fire and carbon monoxide alarm, that's important because you've got to do different things. You know, and what we see a lot of is a lot of people ignoring the carbon monoxide detectors, and we don't want them doing that, obviously, because you can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it.
They think it's faulty.
They think it's a nuisance alarm, when in reality they've got a problem, and it could be a recurring theme. And then suddenly, they're either in hospital or they're feeling really unwell. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your education is around all of that, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
For the end user more than.
yeah, one of our core values is safe communities. That's
Right.
what we do. You know, it's not just the install side; it's everyone else around it. It's the whole lot. And we kind of do that as part and parcel of the job. You know, there's no.
So I think we Dave and I thought we knew a lot about Aico.
The whole subject from start to finish. Since we looked at these CO regs and started to look into it, I've just grown in what I've known. And you know, you're talking about having a fire escape plan for the house. I would never have thought of doing that.
No. I think the big thing for me is we thought we knew who Aico were, and then also me and you turned up and saw all of that. Every single time we talk to these guys, we learn a little bit more, don't we?
I mean, I'm fascinated by this Airbnb comment because that's a monstrous market. And a lot of those people won't know that they need to comply.
The other thing is the section in the British Standard on short-term lets. So you don't obviously learn about it if you come on the trainer, but you're all, you know the different grades and categories of systems, yeah?
Yeah.
So all Airbnbs across the board, if you follow the standard, need to be grade D1 LD1. All Airbnbs, any short-term lets, any holiday lets, anything like that.
So let's
grade
just
D1 LD1.
Yeah.
There's
Just
probably
qualify
some that have seen LD1 means what? So LD1, that means a device in every single room.
A little bit more specific than that is an LD1, unless you've got a little note saying that you can design a little bit out.
Okay.
Every void in the property with a risk of fire.
Every void. So the ceiling, roof void. So the loft.
Yeah, the loft space with PV, for example, consuming it in a cupboard,
There's
boiler.
no way most of them comply.
Nope, not at all.
Next time you're out on Airbnb, Dave, you're going to have a look at
but it's kind of new. So there was nothing for Airbnb. They actually added it in. So in the revision in 2019, they added it in. There was nothing for Airbnb. It just said bed and breakfast. It didn't say holiday lets. It didn't have a section.
It did, didn't it?
So it is very new now. Well, say very new. It's a couple of years old now, but it was recently added, as it were.
Well, I think the big thing is now we're only talking about it because it came in just at the beginning of the pandemic, didn't it?
Yeah.
Then we've done nothing for 2 years about it, and now we're re-looking at this, saying, "Oh, hold on a minute, we might have to do." It. So, I mean, we're talking. I mean, me and you talk at these tech talks about lots of things that can add value to the contractor's portfolio of what work they do. This alone, David.
If you take EV, PV, and CO alarms, they're pretty much occupied for the rest of their lives. You can forget wiring houses.
Who needs to wire a house?
So, how have you found our tech talks then?
Yeah, they've been brilliant. A really good mix of customers attending as far as we're concerned. Obviously, there's a lot of interest around Aico, as always, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But no, great turnout, a really good spread of customers from, your one-man band to your large electrical contractors to someone there's been, 5-6 social housing providers here today?
Yes, I saw that. Did you see all their names? I saw the logos on the shirts.
A big old mix. So from a customer perspective, and in terms of it being, is it worth us being? Absolutely, it's been brilliant. Really good.
That's really
so, Andy, if people want to get in touch, they've heard a lot of stuff here. They want to get in touch. What do they do? Go to the website.
Best bet is the website. If you want to sign up for the training, the website is your best bet. If you want to speak to your local RSM, if you go to the website and search RSMs, put your postcode in, and then it'll flag up the person's name with their contact details and their phone number if you want to get in touch with someone directly. For example, writing specifications. If you do need, you've got a big old scary site and you want someone to give you some advice on it, they can either come to site or speak to you over the phone and give you guidance on that. Or again, if you do speak to your wholesalers, and a good thing to do, go speak to your wholesaler, go speak to CEF.
Our account managers at CEF, we have the ability to link direct into you guys, don't we, as well?
You can literally go to them, I want to do a training course of Aico. Can you call Aico and organise one?
Yeah.
So you can always go it through CEF as well.
Yeah, so we have the ability to do that. So you're the first of us, of many. We've got another couple of these to do, haven't we, Dave? Thank you very much for your time. It's been brilliant. And again, I think we've learned a little bit more about Aico that we can talk to the next Tech Talk. The next Tech Talk, where are we off to now then?
Exeter. On the road to Exeter this afternoon.
Yeah, so thank you very much for joining us, me and Dave here at CF Tech Talking.
Exactly.
Thank
No
you.
problem, guys.